Hey everybody, this is Gregory from Dapp University. So today I'm excited to talk about Blockstack, which is the easiest way to build decentralized blockchain applications. So I've got a few guests here from Blockstack to talk about the project today. So welcome Muneeb and Hank. I'm going to hand it over to Muneeb to talk about your involvement with the project and maybe explain to us a little bit about Blockstack and why it's the easiest way to build blockchain decentralized applications.
Hey everyone, really excited to be here. So I'm Muneeb, I'm co-founder of Blockstack. It's an open source project started around 5 years ago. And I'm also the CEO of Blockstack PPC, which is the company that is building some of the core protocols and the developer tools that you'll learn about. So Blockstack is the easiest way for building blockchain applications, mostly because we have reduced all of the complexity that goes into a full stack for building applications. And the developers don't need to learn any new languages. If you know JavaScript and if you know how to do web programming, you can just plug in our developer libraries and just start storing data, start interacting with our blockchain, and basically very quickly get started with your applications. And it's not just about, so around 5 years of hardcore R&D work went into this platform. We are a group of computer scientists from Princeton. I finished my PhD there while I was working on Blockstack. And the interesting thing about the project is that it's not just about the ease for developers and quickly ramping up decentralized applications. There's also a built-in incentives mechanism. So think of it this way, that in our blockchain, there is an allocation of token distribution. It's a fairly significant allocation that goes to developers who are building the top applications on top. And there is a semi-automated mechanism for ranking these applications. So you can actually, we're running that in a pilot stage these days, and around $100,000 worth of awards are actually flowing through that system every month right now. So it's a very interesting way of having a shared stake in the success of the ecosystem and having the right incentives to participate in building towards a truly decentralized ecosystem. And I'm actually going to hand it over to Hank, who's a core developer on the project, and he will have a walkthrough of these developer libraries and how easy it is to get started.
Awesome, thanks Muneeb. Awesome intro. Yeah, as Muneeb said, I'm Hank. I'm one of the core developers at Blockstack. So I help build out some of our developer tools and some of our consumer-facing projects. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and show you some slides and do a little walkthrough of what the whole Blockstack ecosystem is like, what some of our core aspects of the project are, what some of the awesome apps that are built on are, and some of the programs that we have and resources where you can get started.
Yeah, very cool.
Awesome. So as Muneeb said, we're Blockstack, and we're a platform for building decentralized blockchain apps. And there's two main aspects when I explain how Blockstack works. We have your Blockstack ID, which is our entire identity system. It's all tied to on-chain names so that you fully own your identity. You can describe it however you like, and you can use that whenever you log into apps that are built on top of Blockstack. And so these IDs are persisted on-chain. So you can pay for them. You can even create top-level domains. So it's almost like a whole DNS system. And then we've even built a mechanism where users can create a Blockstack ID without paying anything. While still having full control over your ID, we will front the cost of that on-chain transaction. And that's really part of making your app as easy to use for anyone who wants to get started. When you register a name on Blockstack, it is actually an on-chain name. So we have a whole set of protocols where you can register names, you can transfer names. And as you see, we have the Blockstack Explorer here. And so you can go to explorer.blockstack.org and really see all the different names that have been registered. I think there's about 100,000 names registered at this point. And each name can be tied to a profile. So I have my avatar and name. It's all owned by a specific address and your private key so that you have full control over it, no one else. And it's even tied to the apps that you use as well. And then the second main aspect of Blockstack is Gaia. Gaia is our storage layer, and it allows anyone to essentially store their data that they're using within apps wherever they want. So Gaia hubs act as sort of a hub where apps can follow one single protocol, and then depending on how you've configured it with your ID, it can be stored wherever you want it to be. So we have adapters for Google Drive and Dropbox and IPFS and S3, and we're always building out more support for more storage drivers on the back end. And this is all tied to your Blockstack ID. So when you visit a Blockstack app or when you're developing an app, you don't have to worry about where the data is stored on the back end. It's all one single protocol for fetching and storing data. So I'm going to show you a couple apps that are built on top of Blockstack because I think it shows how easy to use it is and how the type of complex applications that you can build. One of the best examples is Graphite. Graphite is a decentralized document editor. It's quite similar to like a Google Docs suite. You can create text documents. You can create spreadsheets. You can even just store arbitrary files on it like a Google Drive. And their text editor is amazing because it actually supports multi-user collaboration. So by default, all your data is entirely encrypted. No one can see it, not even the Graphite server or Blockstack. But you have fine-grained control. So I can say, I would like to share this document with Munib. And then he can hop right in, log in with his ID, and then we can edit this document in real time. All of the data is still stored on Gaia. So if I ever wanted to export my data or if the Graphite app ever shut down, I'd still have full control over it. BitPatron is a newer app. It's kind of a decentralized Patreon alternative. So you can build campaigns and pages where you would like to have people support you. And what's great about this is that there's no centralized layer to really control the experience. And it's built on top of cryptocurrency payments. So you can pay with Bitcoin and you can pay with Lightning and other cryptocurrencies soon. And the awesome thing about being able to use Lightning is that you can really use microtransactions. So with BitPatron, with traditional credit card-based systems, there's so many fees that it's hard to do really small levels of payments. But on BitPatron, there is none. You could even go less than a cent if that's what you wanted. And then it has all the features that you would expect, such as supporters getting access to private content and collaboration with the campaign owner. It's great and it's new and it's been finding some good traction. Sigil is a blog maker. It's got a great UI, really simple design, and you can do what you would expect from like a Medium type of thing. You can create your own blog, and then you can create posts on that and share them with anyone so that they can discover and read your blog posts. Of course, before you publish it, it's all encrypted and stored in your Gaia, so you can use it on multiple devices, but ensure that it's private until you explicitly decide to share. Block Vault really highlights the type of private apps that you can build on Blockstack. Again, because everything is encrypted by default with no single server having access to it, Block Vault allows you to do what you might do with like a 1Password, where you can store passwords or you can store secure notes. Again, it's got a great handy user interface that's intuitive to use, but you don't have to worry about for example, like a 1Password ever being hacked. You can inspect all the data being sent back and forth from your Gaia hub and ensure that it is encrypted and it's encrypted with your private key. Banter is a fun new app that I personally built, and we wanted to highlight some of the features that you can build on Blockstack using a somewhat newer framework that we call Radix. It's really built for applications that need multiple users to be able to aggregate data from multiple users and display and query it in one single feed. So it's kind of like a Twitter. You can make short messages and you can like posts and everything. But we wanted to highlight some of the newer features, so it's totally real time. You can open a WebSocket and get real time messages from other people using them as soon as it happens. It has notifications. So if you opt into notifications, you can get an email when someone mentions you or someone interacts with you, or if you want to get, for example, like a daily digest of recent posts. And that code is all on GitHub. And again, we really just wanted to show what you can do and maybe make this a place where you can take some of these features and use it in your own app. And so I'll actually show you how that works just to see what Blockstack apps look like in the wild.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, so we're on Banter right now. The URL is banter.pub. We actually just kind of put this out yesterday. And so, still building the community, but it's really just a fun place to kind of learn about Blockstack, and especially as a developer, dive into the code. But when you use any Blockstack app and you go through the authentication process, you get sent to the Blockstack browser. This is something that could be run as a native app, or if you don't want to install the native app, we have a cloud-hosted version that stores your keys locally in the device. But it's essentially the one hub where you can manage your private keys. You can update your profile, add social proofs, and then, of course, authenticate into different apps. So in this case, Banter is asking me to see my basic info and publish data for this app so that others can discover it. And you can see all the IDs that I have registered under this keychain. So I can choose which one to use. Got a few here. I'm going to use this one. And then I'm redirected back to Banter, where I can make a post, say something like, and yeah, the great thing is I think that it behaves just like you would expect from a centralized application, but we're taking advantage of all the benefits of that Blockstack provides in a decentralized way. So it's easy to use, it's fast, but it still is controlled by the ID, that the identity that you own and that you control, and your data is still all stored in Gaia. So you can always have full control over what you want to share, what you want to maybe delete, or maybe what you would like to export in the future. So that's a bunch of the apps that I've chosen to highlight, but we have a lot more. And we've built app.co as sort of a Dapp marketplace where you can go and learn about Dapps and find Dapps that you're interested in. So if you go to app.co/Blockstack, you'll see all the apps that have been built on top of Blockstack. But it's not just for that. We have apps for Ethereum and Tron and IPFS and a lot of the other decentralized app platforms as well. You can kind of go in and see the details, and of course, go to the website and sign in. If you're a developer and you want to get started, probably the best place to go is docs.blockstack.org. This is our one hub that can connect you to our references and our tutorials. You can even, the search bar here connects to everything. So if you search for something, you can go to our forum, which is at forum.blockstack.org, and our GitHubs and everything you might be interested in. And if you do want to get started, we have app mining. App mining is this cool incentive program that we built to try and grow the number of great apps that are built on Blockstack. So as it says on the title here, every month we pay out $100,000 US to the best apps, and we pay in Bitcoin. And we have a complex ranking system that we built in collaboration with a few game theorists at Princeton and some other universities, so that we have a few third-party reviewers that each use their own expertise to rank apps. We aggregate all that data, and depending on how high you rank, that determines how much you make. So the number one app every month gets $20,000, and it sort of exponentially decreases from there, but everyone earns something, and it's a nice way to be able to compare how well you're doing against the other apps. You get a lot of feedback from our different reviewers during this process to be able to improve your app, and hopefully you'll be able to make some money in the meantime to fund development. The very first starting point, if this is your first time on Blockstack, is our 0 to Dapp tutorial. You can find that directly